Rob, we have potato products to talk about today, and this is important. This is important stuff, I think, for the listeners to understand, because you've been exploring the wide world of potato snacks.
Yeah, so this may not be, and we were just discussing this before recording, but this may not be clear exactly what these are.
Yes.
So these are frozen, like, oven potato things.
See, I didn't realize these were frozen. I thought that these hula hoops, which is the first bag in your picture on your tweet, I thought those were like just a bag of snacks you buy, like if you bought, chips or something.
Yeah.
Crisps.
So this is what's weird. So hula hoops and Space Raiders, which is the other ones you see in the photo, are crisps or chips, as you say.
Right.
Like these are crisps that you can buy in the UK. Most people would know what they are, especially hula hoops. They're really popular.
Right, I've seen those before.
But what you're looking at in the photo is they've made them into like you get like frozen fries.
Frozen French fries, basically.
Right, frozen potato products that you chuck them in the oven for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or something, and you have a snack, or you have it with whatever with your dinner. And that's what these are. They've started making like frozen oven chips, but they're in the flavors of these crisps that we can buy. Like, it's very strange.
That is very strange. What possessed you to buy this instead of just buying some normal potato, like fries that you would normally see in a grocery store?
I don't know. I think I saw a tweet about them because somebody was like, look at these horrible things that they've released. Because the companies that make these, I think it's like KP Snacks is the company. And they're obviously making they're like, look what we've done. We've taken our crisps and turned them into chips that you can chuck in the oven. And they only sell them in one supermarket in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Not one physical store, but one chain of stores. Right. And I happened to be in that store, and I thought, I wonder if they have them, because these kind of things tend to actually get quite popular. And like, I've looked for these weird promotional things before, and they just never have them. Right. And I walk around the corner, and there's all the various frozen chips and waffles, and all the stuff, all the good stuff. And then I see them, and they have these, and there's other hula hoop flavor. I think they do a beef hula hoops, and they do a pickled onion Space Raiders.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't sound too good, actually. Beef flavored, just essence of beef on your potato. I don't know if that's one that I'd be up for. The Space Raiders, so everybody understands, these are like shaped like the heads of aliens, basically.
Correct. Yeah, and these, they both do. They both look exactly like their equivalent crisps. They're the same size and shape, and actually once you've cooked them, at a glance, I'm not sure you'd even be able to tell.
Right. And hula hoops are like little straws, basically. Potato straws, essentially. Short little straws of potato.
Yeah, this is a very weird experience explaining what hula hoops are, because like to anyone in the UK, you say hula hoops and everybody knows what you're talking about.
I know they're not common here. That's why I thought I ought to explain them.
No, that totally makes sense. So, I think it was like Sunday night, it's the end of the weekend. We're like, right, we'll chuck some of these in. So we did, some of both. And I can't remember what else we cooked with it. I can't remember now, off the top of my head. But honestly, they just taste like any other frozen fries, like frozen chips. They were really disappointing.
Just fun shapes is all.
Right. I mean, I don't think they were any more expensive than, like an equivalent bag of standard chips. Or any of the other stuff they have. But yeah, they were a bit disappointing. Yeah. We'll still eat, the rest of them that we've got at some point, but just complete market employee, and they got me, and I gave them their money.
Yeah, well, you're the target market for this, obviously. I do like how on things like this, and this is very true in the United States too, is that these, at least the hula hoops, the little description says flavor potato rings, and you always makes me scratch my head. Are these things not potatoes, but they're made to taste like potatoes? Or is the flavor the salt on them or whatever other flavoring they've got, like the beef ones you mentioned? Not entirely clear from this, although I assume they're probably just, potatoes that have been mashed up and formed into a shape and then frozen hard so that you can put them in your oven. And because we have things like this, I've seen like the Space Raiders. I have seen this sort of thing in kids' meals, for instance, at some fast food places in the U.S. I'm sure I've seen it in the grocery store too. We don't have hula hoops, but the frozen potato section of a U.S. grocery store tends to be fairly extensive. You've got your curly fries, you've got your shoestring fries, you've got your crinkle cut fries, you've got your waffle fries, you've got potatoes cut every which way humanly possible, frozen, and then you throw them in the oven. I'm kind of partial to the crinkle cut fries because I think they crisp up better in the oven myself.
Absolutely, yeah, totally agree with you. Crinkle cut is definitely the way to go. Yeah. Like I say, these were, I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a go. I wasn't going to try pickled onion. No, I like the pickled onion Space Raiders, the actual crisps, but I wasn't willing to try that in these. Like, I just thought that was a bit too much. That did seem like a weird flavour to do in this kind of product.
Yeah, that does seem a little strange. Interesting. I did not know about Space Raiders, that this was normally a crisp in the UK. I'll have to be on the lookout for that once I'm traveling internationally again. I'll have to grab a bag.
Yeah, so Space Raiders, and I think, again, this is just like a UK thing, but or at least they used to be. Like 20 years ago, there was this sort of, there's a bunch of different products that would fall into this category where like everybody knows what the price is. So Space Raiders, a bag of Space Raiders in the shop was always 10p. And there's a chocolate bar called a Freddo. You may have heard of people mention this because it's also used as like a measure of the economy. And that was like a 10p chocolate bar. So it's like the kind of thing that, if you're a kid and somebody's giving you some change, well, you like, this is what you would go and buy. Sure. So like Space Raiders, Freddos, and there's a few other products like that. There's a Chomp and a Fudge. I've got loads of crazy words that you're just probably thinking, what the hell is he talking about?
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, they all fall into this like 10p category. So like, I don't know what Space Raiders cost these days, if I'm honest. But like hula hoops, like pretty much everyone in the UK would know what these are.
Right. I'm mostly familiar with like the various Cadbury candies that you can get in the UK, because you can get those in Ireland too, and that's where my son's in college. So whenever I go over to Ireland, I'll pick up a whole bunch of different things, crunchies, and I don't remember what else, twirls, and all those kind of things.
Oh, twirls are good. Yeah, 12s are really good.
Yeah. So those are all really fun. So I'll bring as much of that home as I possibly can in my suitcase. That's always fun to do. But well, that's interesting, Rob. You've had a culinary adventure, obviously. Do they have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's what they have in the UK. Do they have frozen custard? It's like ice cream, but it's custard and it's frozen.
I've never heard of such a thing. I am going to... You can listen to me type
it's
now.
Become a bigger thing here over the years, and it's very big in the Midwest, and we have a very good custard place nearby. It's basically soft-serve ice cream, but whereas a lot of soft-serve ice cream is kind of icy and light, this is incredibly rich and thick. Because it's custard, it's got more cream in it, I believe.
Yeah, I did just have a look across the various supermarkets in the UK. It doesn't appear like this is something that you can just buy off the shelf.
So here, a lot of times, typically, it's not something you would find in the grocery store. It's usually a takeout type of place, an ice cream shop somewhere. So there's one here called Culver's, is very big in the Midwest, and is like a hamburger place that also has frozen custard. But we have a different one nearby that we like to go to once in a while. And a lot of times they'll do the thing, they will mix in various candies and other things like that into what they call a concrete, which is where they combine the frozen custard with the candy, and it's really good. It's a nice summertime thing to do. Go out for a frozen custard. We'll do that once in a while, but it's super, super filling and rich. So it's basically a meal replacement if you have one of these. I mean, that's like, you don't know what to make for dinner. Let's go get a frozen custard, and then you're good until the next morning.
Yeah, that actually sounds... I'm reading about it now. I'm like, oh, this actually sounds really nice.
It's really good. It's super smooth and creamy and about as rich as ice cream could possibly be, I think. And still be like soft serve, basically. So it's really good. You can make shakes out of it and stuff, too. But usually we just get some sort of frozen custard, usually with something mixed into it. So, Rob, I want to ask, are you getting excited for WWDC? Do you watch WWDC? I should maybe start there because that'll answer the question, I think.
In previous years, I've watched, I watched the keynote.
Sure.
And depending on what I've got going on, I will normally watch the State of the Union.
Mm-hmm.
I think when they introduced Swift UI, I watched a bunch of the labs on that because I was sort of curious where that was going. But generally, no, I don't really watch it. I'm not an iOS developer. I'm not a Mac developer. Right. So I try and sort of, I'll skim through some articles. Maybe I'll watch some of the shorter, lab videos if I just want to sort of, keep up with what's going on. But no, generally I won't watch most of the videos.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close, and I'm kind of glad that they're back at an early June schedule. Last year ended up being, all the OSs ended up released at about the same time as normally. But everything was compressed because the conference wasn't until the end of June, which made for a pretty hectic summer at Mac Stories. And this year, as a result, we'll have a couple of extra weeks, 2 to 3 extra weeks compared to last year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it does actually make kind of a difference because the summer is fairly short. Once you get past WWDC, you're really only 12 weeks or so out from iOS 15, and so that's fairly compressed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I really do miss going in person because it's been a very long time since I've seen a lot of people who that would be the only time of year that I see them, but I do kind of in some respects also enjoy dealing with it from my home because obviously it's very easy for me to roll out of bed, sit at my desk, and deal with it all day, and then be done at the end of the day. And then you don't have all that extra overlay of traveling and being in a hotel and being out late at night and all that kind of thing. But in the end, I do kind of miss it.
Yeah, I think you're not the sort of first person that I've heard sort of saying this about WWDC, and it's like, obviously, I don't go. It's never really been in, the prices for flights and hotels is just too much, even just to come out crazy. And, hang out with you guys and stuff. But I think you're right. It's like a weird thing where it's almost like WWDC serves as the purpose where you can all go there and, you say everyone's there and you can all hang out. But most people aren't actually going to WWDC or just all going to San Francisco or San Jose.
Right.
Because it's a good catalyst to get people to go all at the same time.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, the nice thing about being at home is that it's very hard to be away and covering it at the same time. And so when we would go to San Jose, usually what we'd do is we would have a ton of coverage the day of the keynote, a little less coverage the next day, and then it would just trail off from there. But, when we're all at home, it's a lot easier to do more. And so we are doing more. We're going to do like last year with extra podcast episodes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's weird. It's always strange to me because on the one hand, I do miss seeing everybody. On the other hand, boy, my life is a lot easier when I'm doing it from home. But yeah, so that's...
Well, I mean, it's a busy time for you. It's like, you've got, like you say, you've got WWDC, and then it's all well and good going on. Well, it's, just the reviews of the OSs, but it's like, it's all the follow-up articles in between with all the additional details and, how's this going to work? How's that going to work? And,
right.
I do not envy you for the next 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years we've done this thing where we do a preview of certain aspects of the OSs over the summer, and we usually do about 8 stories, and those tend to be super highly researched and in-depth. And last year, I kind of just went from one of those to another all summer long, and that gets to be a little bit of a grind.
Yeah. You and Federico, you're very busy.
Yeah. Well,
you work very
keep out
hard.
of trouble that way, I guess. But in any event, that's coming, And you told me also about Ratchet and Clank has what, another preview out?
Yeah, so it seems like what they did was gave, game journalists and stuff like that, like an hour, I think, of gameplay of various different parts of the game. So there's a little bit more footage now.
All right.
So we get to see the new character and some of the new environments, which I had a little look through. I didn't watch the whole video I think I was watching IGN's one. But you can kind of see that, like, it's still a Ratchet and Clank game. It's got all the sort of familiar elements, but everything just sort of looks fantastic. And then you've got obviously the new, the thing where you can like fall through different worlds and different rifts in the space where you are. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this game. I don't care that game prices have gone up by about £20. Right. I'm just going to buy it. Yeah. I'm pre-ordering this. I'm getting it straight away day one.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good day one game to have because it's one of those that has obviously been developed for the PS5. Like, when you're moving through the different worlds, the smooth transitions in gameplay from one to the other without loading screens and all that stuff that's been shown off before, I think will make for a really different experience.
Yeah, and I played through a little bit of the 2016 Ratchet and Clank recently because they released a patch for that for the PS5 so that it runs at 60 frames per second. And like just playing that, I was like, I really like the game. I've played it a few times, but I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for more Ratchet and Clank now. So I think we're like a month away from release now.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Of course, I'm still trying to get a PS5, Rob. I think since we last talked, I don't think I have tried again to get one. I don't think I've seen any go on sale. They tend to come in bursts. Like, at least here in the U.S., they'll show up like on Amazon and Best Buy and Walmart, all within a day or two of each other, and then they're gone instantly, and then it's 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the case in the UK as well. I sort of, I tend to see tweets from, companies and stuff saying, oh, we've got some in stock, right. But it's definitely slowed down in the last month or so. I don't know whether that's because of the chip shortages or, there's other things going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I did read that they started selling them in China and that they sold out at every retail location in 1 second online in China. So now just, the situation wasn't bad enough already but now, China's competing for PS5s now too. So
right, you got like another billion people that are trying to get one.
Yeah, and I read that I think Sony said that they're expecting shortages into 2022 now.
Oh wow. Okay, so I really am like I knew I was lucky to get one on launch. I don't think I quite realized how lucky.
Yeah, it's really looking bad. I just saw a headline to that effect sometime in the last few days.
Yeah, I did see there's a sort of second-hand game shop in the UK where they list all their trade-in prices and stuff. And I can still sell my second-hand PS5 to them for like £200 more than I paid for it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and there's part of me that's like, well, I could do that, but I kind of want my PS5. I don't want to have to then wait another 6 months to be able to get one. It's not.
No, if you do that, you'd be stuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I don't want to. I'm not that desperate to sell it to make. I didn't buy it to make money. I bought it so I could play games.
Have you thought about playing Returnal? I've heard good things. I mean, I don't know if it's my kind of game, but it looks interesting.
It looks really good, and I watched a couple of different reviews from a few places, and I think it's not a game for me because it's deliberately a game where you replay the same thing, at least a few times to sort of work out how you're going to do it and stuff like that. And I've sort of heard that it gets quite difficult quite quickly. And, I know there's a lot of people that's kind of what they want out of a game, but for me, I don't want, I want some difficulty, but I don't want a game where I'm just going to be too frustrated to even, finish the story.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories of people just having difficulty getting past the first level. So it sounds really hard. There's a review that you should watch on YouTube. There's a channel that Federico just told me about a day or two ago, which is Girlfriend Reviews. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I love Girlfriend Reviews.
So good. It's so good. I'd never run across this for some reason, and there's one for Returnal that is really excellent.
Yeah, if you've only just discovered them, which I mean, I'm a little bit jealous.
I watched 3 last night.
Yeah, go back to the first one they did was the Red Dead Redemption one. And this, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago now, year and a half, 2 years
this
ago.
channel's grown really fast from what I understand.
Yeah, oh yeah, really quick. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, it was around Christmas time, so it was maybe only a year and a half that they've been around. But yeah, go back to like there's Red Dead Redemption. They did a Mario Odyssey one.
I watched Gods of War. I guess they're revisiting it with the PS5. I watched that. I watched one about video game movies where they talk about Mortal Kombat and other movies. That was quite good. That's another one that was fairly recent, I think. And then I watched the Returnal one. Those are the 3 that I watched last night.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Returnal one yet, but I think now I've made a decision that I'm probably not going to buy it. I just watch the video.
Yeah, it's not going to it doesn't give away much anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
No. But yeah, if you haven't watched them, like go back, get on the videos tab and go right down to the bottom to the oldest ones, because, and I say old, it's like a year and a half, but even their first video that they did, which like I said, I think was the Red Dead Redemption one, is so good, like straight out of the gate. Like this is why they've grown so quickly.
It looks,
because all their videos are so good.
And the videos look like they're an extraordinary amount of work because there's so many clips and references baked into them from clips from old movies and TV shows and the game itself. It looks from just a production standpoint to be like crazy difficult to make one of these. I'd be really interested in hearing more about how they're made.
I think they have a video up as well about exactly that, like how they do. I think there's like a Q&A video or something. But I do know that the boyfriend of Girlfriend Reviews, I'm pretty sure he is a video editor or something by trade. So I think obviously there's that sort of level that he like knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I got it.
But yeah, I mean it's a really really good channel.
They're really fun. They're really funny.
Not been reading
the thing about them. I mean they're meant to be humorous, and that's what I like. They're very entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I'm very jealous that you've now got a year's worth of back catalogue that you can go through.
I do. I've got a whole summer ahead of me. I'm going to be watching these a lot.
Cool. Okay. I think that's probably it.
So too.
There's not that much going on, is there?
No, I mean, it's funny because I have these weeks where I get really itchy, where in the sense that I feel like I'm not writing enough. And then I realize, well, there's nothing to write about right now. There's not really a whole lot of apps coming out. There's very little news unless you're into Apple's legal battle with Epic, which I'm not particularly. And so there's not a lot going on. But soon enough, it'll all be ramping up for WWDC. And, of course, we've got the iPads coming out. At least the rumor is May 21st is when the deliveries are going to happen, plus those new iMacs. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's very true. Lots to look forward to.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that stuff once it's all out and we've had a chance to take a look and think about it a little more.
Yes, we will. All right. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.